Welcome to the future of sports betting with Atlas World Sports. Atlas World Sports is your super sports book on your phone. Find the latest lines in real time to give yourself every advantage to beat the house. Better action coming soon. Atlas World Sports will deliver a winning experience for all your rookie bettors all the way to Hall of Fame bettors with our AI-based Game Winners predictive model for subscribers. Find Atlas World Sports in iOS and Android app stores or via atlasworldsports.com. Atlas World Sports, may the odds forever be in your favor. Bet better. All right, well, it is, it's been a, man, how did we first get to know each other?
After you saw, I think, the Fear of 13 or podcast with Rogan.
Nope. I think I dug deep. I think I found you.
Yeah, and you were like so gracious.
Was I?
Yeah, man.
Normally I'm not that gracious.
I know you're usually drunk. No, it's
usually
fucked
I'm
up.
drunk. You don't drink anymore, do you?
No, I haven't been drunk in 42 years.
Really?
Yeah.
What about drugs? Any drugs?
No, I used a little bit of cannabinoids over the years because I got so much nausea from so many broken bones and stuff. But
Yeah.
I can't take any over-the-counter pills or anything.
Nick Yarris.
Yes.
What a story.
What a fucking meeting, man.
What a life.
Finally, Bob, I had to go across America to meet you, man.
And how funny is that? It's funny. I was supposed to be in Scottsdale today. I had a Super Bowl champion that I was supposed to go see, and I said, you know what? I saw that you were in here. I said, fuck it, I'm not going.
That's awesome.
So
No,
I've been looking to sit down with you for a very long time. Nick, how would you describe your life in one word? You can take your time here on the Rip and Magoo podcast. Maybe 3 words even?
Oh, okay. Tumultuously beautiful.
Really? I was going to say very fucked up.
Oh, man, that's brilliant.
And that was 3 words.
All right, very fucked up at times, but my God, look, I'm the same guy that's gone from living in the national forest with nothing from 3 years, having gone from the pinnacle of speaking to the Human Rights Council in Geneva.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it's been a rocket ride of so many things. I dare not say it's nasty or negative or fucked up.
I'm only saying because, your story is probably one of my greatest fears of all time. To be, I guess you were
doomed.
You were charged with something that you didn't do, and you were facing a pretty harsh penalty for that, right?
Yeah, so at the age of 20, I get convicted of the rape and murder of a woman I never meet in my life. I go to death row where in my first 2 years on death row, I'm not even allowed to speak in my cell. And I'm being openly tortured, man. Like I had this really difficult task of trying to find myself while being brutalized. Mm-hmm. And it was fascinating that I had so much pressure on me just to live that I had to figure out how to stop the anger because I wouldn't have lasted, man.
So let's go back a little bit here. I can only imagine. We'll get there. What was would you say, the worst day of your life? I'm sure if you remember a date.
Yeah. I experienced the Sid's death in 2016 with Jamie Lee. My wife, I'm currently married to, Laura, and I were laying on the sofa. We put the baby down for a nap because Laura wasn't feeling well, and she was running around taking care of the house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, babe, come on and lay down. I'll put the baby down. I put her down for a nap. I got Laura, who's like this machine, like she's got to have everything clean, you know what I mean? I grabbed her and put her on the couch, and we were laying there, and it was like an ITV program was on the television, and we fell asleep. And then I woke up, and I went upstairs to check the baby, and she's dead.
Jesus Christ.
I can't fucking pick her up. I'm like,
This is your baby?
Yeah, this is
Holy
her.
shit.
So I picked the baby up, and I'm screaming. I'm trying to get down the stairs and trying to do CPR while going down the stairs, and there's Laura, and she's freaking out. Our neighbor runs in, grabs the baby and starts doing the CPR when I get on the phone and start calling for help.
I never ever I looked up. I didn't even know that story about that. That's awful. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I don't want to ever make that part of my story because it's not fair on Laura, the mother, that a lot of people will give me. Grief is a very personal thing, and you never want to overstep the bounds of your partner who's given birth to a child by going out and seeking any kind of pity or empathy. It's something that I internalized, and it cost me because I have PTSD nightmares where I'm trying to pick the baby up in my sleep and I can't pick her up, Bob.
I can imagine. I can't even imagine.
Fuck.
That's tough stuff. That's awful. I'm so sorry to hear that. I did not know that.
Yeah. So
you've had obviously a really, really, really tough life. So when I look at your story, the day that you were arrested what was the date?
December 19th, 1981.
December 19th, 1991.
81,
excuse me. How did that day start?
I was frustrated because I couldn't get high. I was living in my parents' house.
Drug addict?
Yeah, I was a meth head.
What were you using?
Meth.
Okay.
And I was drinking tequila because I was trying to heal my mouth. 2 weeks before that, on December 4th, 1981, I got caught in a stolen Camaro in Philly, and a highway patrolman named Daniel Saldarelli punched me with
you were jacking cars?
Yeah, so I used to go and wait at the airport for you to drop your luggage off and steal your car.
So what was the play? So I dropped my bags off, and then what was like the foolproof move that you could do every time? That was
back then you could park anywhere at the airport, so people were literally, they'd get out with their bags and their family, and they're escorting them up to the ticket counters.
And you go right in?
Yeah.
And you just drive away?
And I just walked up to their car like it was one of the many cars that would be unattended.
And it seems
and you
like
picked out the ones that were most valuable for your sale to get drugs. So,
right. And obviously nowadays it'd be hard to do at an airport because the security's crazy.
Right. But back then, man, anybody could park anywhere at the airport. So you used to steal a car, sell it for $500 so the front end could be taken off at a junkyard and used for a collision center. Mm-hmm. And I would get high.
How many cars do you steal?
Oh, my God, Bob, I stole a lot, man.
Really? Never got caught?
No, I had some wicked chases.
Got away?
Yeah, the best one was on I-95 in a Mercedes-Benz 450 SL 1978 model. But
wow.
I flipped it on Calcanhook Road at the end of the chase and had to run into the nature preserve and outrun the cops and shit.
Did they get you?
No.
How many times have you been arrested in your life prior to the? Well, I mean, obviously, I don't think.
Yeah. So as a juvenile, lots of arrests for burglary, car theft, petty crimes. Mm-hmm. I was arrested for a gun charge and assault prior to my going and being arrested for this.
So you were a troubled kid.
Yeah,
I was.
Scattered.
I say those words lightly, but I'm saying you.
Bob,
you fucked up a lot.
You would have never liked me meeting me under the age of 20.
Why wouldn't I like you?
Because I fucking hated myself, and I would have fucking hated you.
Really?
Yeah, I would have busted you in your mouth.
You would have punched me?
I would have really, I was so chaotically, plus I'm from Southwest Philly, I was raised to be that way.
Yeah, you strike me as that Philly asshole a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
in a nice way.
No, but you know what I mean? No, I was driven, my gang nickname was Psycho.
You were in a gang?
Yes, so you have to understand the 70s. We were territorial, so you had to stand on your corner and defend your corner, man. So bodies would be dropping from the gangs in 54th Street came one night with flatbed pickup trucks and threw kids out the back that they had beaten up.
Jesus.
We had to go up against the Moon Gang with 400 black soldiers, man. These gangs were vicious. They took you out of the casket after they murdered you in front of your family and stabbed you up again, man.
Fucking Christ, depressing.
Philly, man. All my friends are dead, Bob.
That's
my both brothers are dead. They're all gone, man.
That's depressing.
The only thing saved my ass was death row.
Death row. That's crazy. I still want to get there, too. So I want to go back to the date. So, again, the date was what again?
December 19th, 1981.
You start the day, you said, and you were high?
I was frustrated because I couldn't get high.
Okay.
And my mom needed me to go pay the phone bill. So back then, you could go into a bank and pay your phone bill. She finally coaxed me out of my room about 1 o'clock. I got on a trolley car. I go up to Woodland Avenue, and I paid her phone bill at 3:05 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
That bank receipt was at the trial.
Was that one of your alibis?
Yes, because my alibi was at 4:30 and 5 o'clock that night, I was home with my parents and my sister Mabel having dinner. After that began, I also had to argue with my sister Sissy about some money I had borrowed from her, and she wanted my 1971 LTD car in exchange for the money I owed her, and I was arguing with her. I didn't want to give her that car. It was a piece of shit anyway, but I went over, I got kicked out of the house during dinner. I went over across the street to a store where Mary Tara Borelli, the store owner, wanted to know why I was out in the rain and snow, the only night that week that it snowed.
Okay.
And what happened next was, this all was my alibi on December 15th. The night of the 19th we're talking about, that night, I was frustrated because I couldn't get high.
Mm-hmm.
I stole a car. I went riding around with a guy named Eddie Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up...
Who was Eddie Peterson?
He was a friend of mine.
Got it.
Yeah, so drug buddy.
Okay.
So we went up to a girl named Karen Palmer's house. We hang out there. We're getting high. Eddie and I then went down to the airport area where the lounges were, and we got some drinks. I got in the car. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Eddie picked up a girl. I'm like, I'm going to go out to Aston, out where my sister lived. Maybe I'll go out that way. I'm driving through the city of Chester, and the next thing I know, losing twos.
Lights go on?
Yeah, because I went through a stop sign.
Okay, so you go through a stop sign, the cops pull you over. It's just what you think is you're like, fuck, because you're not high.
Oh, I was blasted.
Oh, you were blasted. So you're like, fuck,
But I'm paranoid as shit, and I'm freezing because I just got that beating from the Philly cops.
There you go.
They busted my mouth up. I ain't getting out of the car.
Well, go back to that. I didn't hear about that with the Phillies. What do you mean the Philly cops
So
beat you up?
on December 4th, 1981, I stole a car, and I drove in Philadelphia, and I got pulled over by Daniel Saldarelli, police officer for the Highway Patrol Unit. Mm-hmm. He chased me through Philly, but I was so geeked he couldn't catch me. But a paddy wagon caught me, and when he caught me, he came up with the beaver tail blackjack and punched me in the mouth and ripped my mouth all up. Yeah.
Now, being from somebody from Philly, because you're looking like he shouldn't have done that, but being from somebody from Philly and you know, tough around the edges, do you think he deserved it?
Yeah.
Right?
I knew it was part of the game. Look, Philly had a rule, man. The toughest gang in Philly was the police.
Right.
So if you run from the highway patrol, you're getting your ass whooped.
Right.
I almost beat him. You know what I mean? He fell in the alley. He lied at my trial. Anyway,
Wow.
Look, the point is, when I get pulled over on December 19th, 2 weeks later, after my mouth heals and I can finally go out and get high, I get pulled over in the city of Chester, and I'm so messed up because I got aphasia from a childhood attack that I can't even respond. I know dudes outside, I know the cop's there, and he's shouting at me.
You're inside the car.
And he rips the door open on a 1973 orange Camaro and outblasts all the music that was blaring.
Right.
And he's like, whoa. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Grabs
And he
me.
pulled you over for running a light?
Yeah, a stop sign.
You run the stop sign, he pulls you over, he rips you out of the car, and then, you're all fucked up, so I'm assuming he's
It wasn't until he put his forearm on my throat, man, and pushed my head back against the car, I snapped. Boom, I blew his arm off me like it was nothing, man.
What do you mean you blew his arm off you?
Like one swipe.
Oh, punch or?
No, like my arm.
Sorry.
It's crazy. I got some kind of super strength, man. This is why I never lost a cage fight. Look, something happens in my brain, and I just took my arm and like this, bam, and his arm flows off my neck. He ain't choking me no more. He reaches for the nightstick. I follow in and take the nightstick off him and threw it down just like that, man. And then the next thing you know, he's pulling his pistol. And that's
Well, of course he's got to pull his pistol there, right?
Yeah, so I grabbed the pistol, and that's when it went off.
And then when it went off, what does it mean? What does that mean?
The gun, everything stopped. I kept screaming, okay. He put the gun under my chin, put me in the back seat of the car.
Did you pull the? I'm sorry. Did you pull the trigger?
No, man, I grabbed his wrist, and that's what made it go
That's
off.
what it is. Did it hit anybody?
No.
Okay.
So he sticks the gun under my chin, jams me in the car, and gets into the car. And he took like a long-ass minute, Bob, I swear to God. Then he's like looking me in the rearview mirror, and I'm shitting myself. What's he going to do? And he goes, shots fired, officer assist, help, I'm under attack. Like it's still going on.
Right.
I'm like, oh, you dirty.
Right. He got you.
Yeah.
He got you. You
so the
fucked with
paddy
that guy.
wagon comes and he's outside the car now. And he's like, I just got him. And then when he get there, he goes, this son of a bitch jumped out of his car, ran up on me, and he punched me in the face, and he took my gun. I was like,
What is that, attempted murder then?
yeah, so I got attempted murder, kidnapping of a police officer, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm.
You're fucked. You're fucked.
3 o'clock
You're
in the
high
morning,
as
I'm
shit.
standing
You have a
next-
record. You're done.
And who's going to believe me?
Nobody.
Thank you.
So you go in there, you get booked, you get put in, you get bail?
$100,000 cash bail.
Couldn't afford it.
No way.
So you get in there, couldn't afford the $100,000 bail. Is it true? You only got to put up 10%? Is that what it is?
No, $100,000 cash bail.
Wow. Okay.
Attempted a murder on a police officer.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm surprised you had bail.
Yeah, especially for 1980s.
Right. I was just think that wouldn't be the way it would be back then. Okay, so you're in there, you get booked, you're in jail, you're not getting out. How long are you there for?
I crashed, man. I didn't wake up for 3 days. And when I did, I made the mistake of having a newspaper in my cell that had the front page missing, but on page 3 was the story of the abduction, rape, and murder of Linda Mae Craig, a woman from the area, and this mystery of an unsolved crime.
Unsolved crime, Linda Mae Craig. She was, like you just said, kidnapped and murdered?
Yeah, from the state of Delaware, and driven, and her body was found in the state of Pennsylvania.
And who went to jail for that and was on death row for that for 22 years?
Me.
Really?
Yeah, because I was sitting in my cell going crazy. It's Christmas Eve. I was like, this is all a lie. They taking my life off me for a lie, man. And I kept reading that article headline over and over and over like you do where you're stuck somewhere where you can't get away from a bit of writing. So I said, all right, they want to play this. Lies, huh? So in my desperate 20-year-old mind, I decided to make up a lie. I was going to tell them that this dude that at one time abducted me and rolled me up in a rug and drove me around Philly in a pickup truck.
He was the one that did it?
That did it.
Wow.
Because I heard he died, and I figured I'm going to put it on the dead dude. I'm getting out of here and running.
Why even get involved?
Because they're taking my life for a lie.
You're already going away for this fucking thing anyway.
I didn't do it. I didn't take the guy's
gun. You were saying you didn't do any
man.
of that shit. That's fine. That's all well and good. But you decided to not intervene, but just I guess
play the game.
Claim that
play the same nasty game they were playing on me.
But what is the benefit of that?
So I could get out and run.
I get it. Okay, so you're basically saying if you can give information,
then I would trick them
so
and then
you're,
get out.
Okay, so you
and
could
beat
be like
them.
the rat. Doesn't really matter. The guy that's already kind of dead. You can pin it on him. They'll give you a plea deal and you'll get out.
That's what you tell yourself in desperation when you're 20 years old.
Okay, cool.
And it makes sense at that time.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what's funny? It seems to kind of make sense. I don't think I would make the same decision. But anyways, at the end of the day, that fucked you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come forward. Who do you tell? You tell detectives? You pull somebody aside and tell them this? Or
I told a prison guard. He told the warden. The warden told the detectives. The detectives got the warden to take me out of solitary confinement, get me a cold Coca-Cola, and sit my ass down because they was coming to make me a hero. They promised me I would be released within 3 days because they already spoke to the police officer, Benny Wright. He was willing to reduce my charges to resisting arrest, admitting that he overblew the charges.
So it worked.
It seemed to have worked.
It worked.
I know.
There you go. Well played, right?
Yeah, not in my life.
Okay. So then, what? I mean, how long is the interrogation?
So
Quick, right?
3 days go by. They come back. The dude that I thought was dead is actually alive. It was his brother that died.
Oh, boy.
I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And first things out of their mouth was, listen to this.
Yeah.
We looked at your medical records and childhood records from when you were a child, and we know that you're diminished. I remember that word.
I don't get it.
They said, we know that you're coming forward with this story because you killed that woman and you want to really try and tell us that. So we know that you had a breakup with your girlfriend, Terry, And that's the reason that you went out and murdered a complete stranger to get back at her. And so until you tell us the truth, we're going to keep you here. And for the next 13 hours, man, they tortured me. Then they took me back to the prison and did one of the most diabolical acts. They took the chains off me in front of these bikers called the Pagans. And I can verify this. I can put you on the phone to one of them right now.
I'm gonna step aside from all that. I'm just gonna trust your word for it here.
All right. So my man says, "Thanks, Nick. Good information. We're gonna go kick some doors in." Gives me a hug. What do you think that looks like in front of these guys, man?
Mm-hmm.
When I go back to the block the next morning, man, they start attacking me.
Yeah.
Rat.
Right, and
rat.
this is prior to even being charged with any of this stuff. This is just basically after the cops are.
Found out I was lying.
How did they break you? Did you confess?
No. I tried to hang myself, and they cut me down. The guard told me I wasn't allowed to cheat the state of Pennsylvania out of serving the rest of my life in prison for being a cop attacker and possible murderer. And they put a guy in the cell next to me who burglarized the prosecutor's home, was convicted of it by a jury and facing 20 years. For one night, they put him in the cell next to me, and he said I confessed to him.
When was the moment where they told you that you were being charged with the murder of the young lady?
The day after they moved me out of Delaware County Prison, and they put me in the Chester County Prison while Charles Catalino, the guy I said burglarized the prosecutor's home, made his statements. Then they brought me into a hearing related to my first case for the attempted murder of a police officer. And while I was there, they brought me in and charged me and had one of the witnesses, Frank Kaminsky, hiding in the building so he could later on at my trial make the ID that he saw me at the mall where the victim was abducted.
Okay.
Sinister shit, man.
Right. Okay. So now you're at the point now. Let's cut right to the. Did you have a public attorney?
No, I had Sam Stretton, Esquire, represent me for a total of 1,500 hours for both trials. I was acquitted of the first charges.
The cop situation?
Yeah, the jury only took 20 minutes to see through his bullshit and find me not guilty, and that's why they started seeking the death penalty, because the prosecutor went mental.
So it's two separate trials.
Yeah.
Okay. So first one, you get acquitted for.
My word against the cop.
Right. You're out. You're good. You're free on that one. Dropped.
Right.
But you're being held now for the murder of this girl.
Because I made up a lie trying to
Because
get out
you
of it.
made up a lie in the
How
fucking cell. with
fucking
the newspaper
humiliating.
and all that shit.
Yep.
So you think that if you hadn't have made up that lie, none of this would have happened.
Yep. That's
Okay.
why I always say I put myself on death row for my stupid mouth.
Okay. So you're saying it was your own stupidity not to say that.
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
why
what you're saying.
I for many years I paid my punishment for my stupidity while there by trying to be a pious, good person. That's the only thing you can do when you fuck up this big. This is monumental.
Yeah, this is big.
Yeah.
This is big. So let's go right to the verdict. So you're standing there. You're standing up.
3-day trial.
3-day trial. How long did the jury take to deliberate?
Oh, they were cool. They went out to dinner, deliberated, and kept their desserts for afterwards. I swear to God, they were smooth. They went to the wagon wheel, man.
Right.
Got steak dinners.
Right.
Meanwhile, the courthouse got struck by lightning. Swear to God, the coolest thing. This was such a bullshit moment. God struck the courthouse with a bolt of lightning and knocked the power out. So in the late afternoon, everything's in Klieg-like. They hustle me out of the courtroom, take me up into this big open cell, and I'm looking down on the courtyard on people, and they're looking up at me, and some of them are sneering and fuck you. And
Well, you're a fucking murderer in their eyes.
Yeah, right.
You're the man who killed this lady.
And then I kept looking down on them. I was like, this is really horrific, man. Like, these were some of the co-parents of the children in my neighborhood and shit. Like, this was really fucked up moment. And I turned around, I swear to God, and it felt like I had an energy in this room.
I can imagine.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I knew I wasn't going to die from a feeling, a spiritual feeling behind me that said, go on, and look them in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went back in the courthouse, I always tell this story.
Before the verdict?
Before the reading of my sentence, they had already found
You're
me.
already guilty, found guilty. All
Right,
counts
the
are
jury's out now having dessert.
done.
Doing my life or death. That's some count.
Now they're deciding how.
Guess what? I outlived all of them.
Wow, good for you.
See what I mean?
They're basically what they're doing now is the jury's job is, do they decide or is the judge decide?
They decide.
Lethal injection, electric chair, death, no death. Who decides that?
The jury decides, and the court has the right to affirm it or reject that.
And what did the jury choose?
Death.
How? Does it matter?
Electric chair.
I got a quick question. When you got convicted,
Scotty, you were killing me. I was on a 60 Minutes Barbara Walters tear there.
Did the judge have allow you the opportunity to speak?
And this is why he shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Got you, Scott.
No, you're good.
We can edit.
No,
We're all
that's-
good.
No,
Bring
it's
it back.
okay. So after I had that feeling in that room and I heard those words in my head, I went back in the courtroom and to listen to the judge pronounce me to death. And no one in that room could look me in the eye, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really emotional thing, I think. I think that there's a lot of emotions
I
going on.
said
I'm
to
assuming.
him the following. I said, Your Honor, you can see by everything that's gone here. You know and I know I didn't kill anyone. There's not a shred of evidence, no witnesses. You have a jailhouse informant doing to me what I tried to do to you. I said, look at me, sir. He couldn't look at me. I said, sir, can you look at me? He said, are you finished? I said, yeah, now you can go to hell.
Mm-hmm. You think, real quickly, do you think if this had happened, because, I mean, technology is so different nowadays with everything, surveillance cameras on streets and blah, 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 blah. You think present day?
It's DNA.
Right.
I was the first man in America to seek DNA testing before any other man.
Wow, didn't know that.
The first death row prisoner in America. I filed a petition on February 28th, 1988. I got the information from an author, Joseph Wambaugh, who I was corresponding with. He was a former police detective who wrote The Blooding. And in The Blooding, he mentioned Sir Alec Jeffreys, soon to be knighted, who discovered DNA testing and how his DNA testing in the Colin Pitchfork case in England.
What year was this?
88.
Okay.
So 87, he did all this work, and Wambaugh wrote the book about it. The federal courts, the Florida courts were the first people to use DNA in America to convict someone in 87. I only found out about DNA because a serial rapist named Sheffield was thrown out a newspaper and gave me the newspaper, and on the front page was this helograph of the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read the story, I was like, oh my God.
Ended up being your savior, though, right?
Yeah, because I knew it wasn't my DNA
Yeah, well,
there.
of course.
Right.
Of course you didn't. So, yeah, anything, yeah.
Then comes the really fucked up part, because that's when they started a 15-year effort to murder me. There's no passion of a
Who's
trial.
that?
The police.
All right, well, hold on there. I don't want to go there yet. I have a couple other questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I kind of want to go through the process a
Okay.
little bit, because I can't ever say, and I don't think anybody ever watching this can say that they've ever heard the words guilty, death by, was it lethal injection, electric chair? Did
Electric
they shoot?
chair. They were going to strap me down.
They were going to strap you down, electrocute you to death for something you didn't do.
21 years old.
Right. There's no parole with that. You can't get out, right? You're just done. It's done.
No, he
right?
put 60 years on top to make sure.
Okay, 60 years on top. You step foot out of the thing after hearing the verdict. How does one that just got the death penalty get treated from after they exit the courtroom? What's the process? The person, like, where do they take you? What do they do?
First thing to do.
Does anybody say anything to you?
First thing you do is you realize the four men standing around you are going to grab whatever parts of you they can and cuff you real quick and hustle you out into the hallway. There's a van already waiting. I was already seeing my possessions in the van and knowing that I was going straight to the penitentiary. He got pissed off at me when I told him to go to hell. And he ordered that I get moved out of the area and sent to Huntington Prison. And I was sent to the hardest prison in America. That was the only prison ever condemned by the United Nations for its active practices of torture.
Meaning by the guards and the whatnot? And it's all people who are just going to probably most likely die in prison there, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So there was only 27 men at the time in the state of Pennsylvania under the sentence of death. I was the second youngest one. And when they took me off the van, they beat me up. Seriously, good techniques for 30 seconds.
How were you welcomed by other people right when you walked in for the first time, by other prisoners?
My first experience with other prisoners was I heard a guard yell, shower. So, like an idiot, I'm standing at my door fully dressed. Two guards come to my cell and say, fuckhead, what are you doing? I said, shower? He goes, get them clothes off. So I strip. So he goes, what are you doing? I said, you told me to strip. He said, wrap a towel around you. So I put a towel around me, and they marched me out with 5 other guys, 6 at a time, with 12 guards. Were marched down this block and into a huge, and I mean huge, shower room with all these spigot heads up top, right? My first experience with other prisoners on death row was this dude, Deke the Freak, turns around and goes, "Oh my fucking God, I'ma fuck you the first chance I get." He starts playing with himself right on cue.
Really?
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
No, so I just kept right on showering, man, and ignoring him. But this dude was in with us because he had abducted a staff member and sexually abused him for 8 hours before they could rescue the guy.
That's scary. Yeah, the shower thing is definitely something.
Yeah, this
that's,
dude's 6'5", 270, man.
Yeah, what do you even do there? You got to stand up.
Oh,
to
you got to
him?
break their ankles. So anybody that big, you got to go low.
Okay.
So just let you know.
Yeah. All right. So you get in there. Do you have cellmates?
No, you're in I did all 23 years in solitary confinement.
What? What?
8,057 days. Except for when I escaped from death row, of course.
No, wait. Solitary confinement is that
23 hours a day.
23 hours a day. What's the other hour for?
Exercise.
And you're in a cage?
Yeah, that's the bad part.
Why is that the bad part?
Because he turned that into a sport, cage fighting, for the pleasure of the guards, man.
But is it? I mean,
I fucked a lot of
actually,
people up in there, man.
Let me ask this though: it has to kind of. Does it become like the highlight of the day? I mean, truthfully, when you go in the cage fight, does it become?
No, it's terrifying,
It's
man.
terrifying.
All right.
Yeah.
Look.
Because I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to do.
All
You're
right,
sitting
so
in a cell for 23
I got
hours.
to give context to this, though.
Go ahead.
In the 80s, everything exploded in our prisons from 1 million people to 2 million people overnight, seemingly because of the crack epidemic. Huntington Prison was built to hold a maximum capacity of 700 people. It had 2,000 people in it. The guards who were there had to come up from Philly that were black, watching all these white racist guards beat primarily on black inmates wasn't cool. But you can't fight guard on guard. So they made up this weird, and I mean really fucked up weird thing, where the black guards could bet and they can both get their anxiety off on white and black prisoners fighting each other.
Yeah, nobody's going to say shit. You can't report to anybody. There's
You're
no
in death row,
you're on
man.
death row. Nobody
As soon
gives
as
a
the
fuck.
lieutenant's off on a Sunday, they was doing all kind of shit back then, man.
What happens if you did have a complaint? Who would you go to?
Oh, yeah, you go to your goddamn grave.
Right?
Bob, I watched them throw people off the tier, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I've seen all kind of shit. I lived through a riot where they stacked the bodies. So, yeah, look. All right, so this is the routine.
And again, I don't want to offend you. I'm just learning. I don't know. This
No,
is,
I'm
this
glad.
Is,
I'm
this
glad.
Is some crazy ass shit.
It is because it was my life where I grew up, and I acquired a hell of an education and a stature amongst other men. I actually got 2 guys off of death row doing their legal work.
Who was your best friend in prison?
Murphy.
Who was Murphy?
Craig Murphy, man. Craig Murphy was part of the Junior Black Mafia, and he was sentenced to die, and he was one of the brightest, kindest, cleverest dudes I ever had the pleasure of being a brother to. And he raised me on death row, basically putting wisdom in my... He had all these great sayings, and I just loved the guy. He was great.
Is he still around?
I don't know.
Did you ever go back and visit him?
Initially, I was in contact with him by phone and stuff, and I went to see his mom, and I met his brother and stuff. But I had to get out of Philly right away because it was going to kill me. I left Philadelphia only 10 months after getting out, man.
Right. Time in prison when you're in solitary confinement, 8,000 something. What was it?
8,057 days.
Days. Yeah. Okay. So, how does time go by? Slow, fast, knowing you're about to get electrocuted one day and die, and what does time go by?
Some days it went by so quickly I forgot 10 years went by, man. I got an education that was second to none only because I got tired of not feeling comfortable with this notion that because I suffer from aphasia and I didn't have the eloquence to defend myself early on, the reason I speak as beautifully as I possibly can is so that on the day that they execute me, I didn't embarrass myself.
Did they have a date set? How does death row work? Did they have a date set for you to be executed?
So
Because those things are very delayed. They take a while.
You get 60 days from when the governor receives your transcripts to have your warrant signed at that time. So I would have to have my direct appeal denied, which I did because I escaped in 1985.
What?
Yeah,
This
man.
podcast goes on for 15 hours here. You escaped fucking prison?
Yeah,
Let's not even go there. Go back to the point real quick. We'll go back there. So the appeal, you just said what? I want that
Yeah,
was
you get a direct appeal, it's called, and then you get a habeas corpus round in a federal court, and then you're fucked.
and then you're fucked. Then he signs the little thing and then they set a date.
yeah.
Did you ever have a date set?
No, but I did ask to be executed at one point, and so I came as close as probably like 90 days.
So you can expedite the process if you want
Yeah,
to.
dead man has the right to end this shit.
Wow.
That's the one sentence in America that has power.
Wow. That's crazy.
I know.
So you ended up, well, here we go. New thing you learn, I guess. You escaped. Was this like Shawshank Redemption shit? Was it
Even crazier. No, man, I'm on my way to a court hearing. My first appellate attorney files my appeal, and the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania reversed my case back to the trial court because they withheld 33 pages of the homicide file. I was convicted of aggravating circumstances that put me on death row for a kidnapping that happened in the state of Delaware.
right?
That shouldn't be allowed.
What was your alibi? What was the real thing that happened?
I was at home having dinner.
You were at home having dinner. Were you having dinner with anybody?
26 miles away from, with my mom, dad, and my sister. I told you there's a big argument over the car, remember?
Right.
Right. So all that's covered, but they said it was possible for me to drive 26 miles in the snow and rain, shopping weather, and make it home to be at home having dinner with my family after being at that bank at 3:05 that day paying my mom's bill, which is all bullshit. So it doesn't matter. DNA proved it all wrong.
It seems like it'd be so easy to not to cut you off. It seems like nowadays though, they didn't have surveillance cameras back then on the street corners or anything, right? No. Nowadays it's easy because it's like, well, he didn't go from here to here to here to here, right?
Right.
So
yeah, they track your phone.
yeah, right.
Right.
So
Different world, Bob.
yeah, no, definitely different worlds.
There wasn't even DNA until 88, so I was convicted because the bastard that did the crime has B positive blood, same as me. Talk about shit luck.
Yeah, that's bad. What was the best part of prison?
Oh, I fell in love, and I learned how to speak to women. I met this woman named Jackie in 1988 after I began my efforts to do DNA testing.
In prison?
Yeah, she came to visit. She was part of a group of the prison society who were trying to get this prison shut down because of its horrors.
Is she like one of those ladies that's like turned on by death row inmates or anything?
No, she was actually a counselor working with children in the Pittsburgh psychiatric unit. Man.
Oh, good for her.
Highly educated, really well together. Like she's early 30s. I'm 27. This is crazy. I went out there and I was groggy because I was in the midst of doing all this educational work where I wasn't awake most days. I had my own schedule on death row. So I had to wait for the heavily medicated crazies to be given their meds so I could study all night. So I'd read all of the world's religions. I read over 9,400 books before I stopped counting, in fact.
I mean, that seems like the only thing you can do. You can scratch the walls? Like, I mean, there's nothing to do in there.
I went on a mad journey, man. I circumnavigated the globe while on death row when I met Jackie, because I found out about DNA, and I knew that DNA was in my hair. So I wrote to pen pals all over the world, and I asked them to put my hair in the oceans.
Wow, so you were kind of just doing your own, because you're the only person that's going to save you is fucking you.
Yeah, and in fact, I didn't care about the death sentence. I didn't like, all right, so there were times in there I lived so brilliantly. I was happy, man.
Yeah.
I was in love with Jackie. She would come and see me 6 times a month for 9 fucking years.
Wow.
This woman went on Sally Jefferson Rasseriel. She went to court with my mom. She fucking contacted labs. She helped uncover evidence. She did everything she could for me. But when they destroyed the evidence, it looked like after 9 years, she walked in and said, "Nick, I can't stay no more."
Right.
So she left.
As far as, there's no physical touching allowed.
No, I was married to her for 9 years. And
There's just a lot of beating off, probably. That's it. A lot of beating off in that thing?
Definitely.
Yeah,
but I only got to hold her hand for 15 minutes during our wedding ceremonies while they made me wear handcuffs because I was high security.
Well,
Look, when you escape, at one point, I wasn't allowed out of my cell without wearing 50,000 volts of electricity.
And that 50,000 volts of electricity would be used how?
They strap it to your gut so that they can shock you with it, and they have a remote control, and the guards used to play catch with it down the hallway with me.
Yeah.
Oh, they used to torture me, Bob.
Wow, yeah.
I've had some crazy experiences, man. When you live next to the real Buffalo Bill who's out there bragging about chopping women up and feeding them to other, that's all that.
All
yeah,
the fucking crazy.
you're used to this shit. So all the things I'm telling you are normal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad part of it, because I had to develop and try and isolate myself from the dehumanizing fact that I was in prison to live. And I did some remarkable journeys in there.
Did people believe you?
Yeah, I still have a pen pal right now. She's dealing with cancer. She's a middle-aged woman. She was a 17-year-old schoolgirl. Used to be my pen pal. I have a friend in Poland. The same thing. She's, 25 years now. People knew me in there and believed in who I was there, and still love me now out here.
Is that like a program they set up, or is that just random?
It was a pen pal exchange thing. Back then, everything was paper. So I wrote 10 pages a day. Mm-hmm. I used to have such beautiful handwriting.
What time? Did you have any sense of time inside? Is there a clock?
No, there's just count.
There's just count. What's that?
7 a.m., 10 a.m.
Okay. And then, so you wake up at 7 a.m.
No, you wake up whenever you want on death row, but your ass is going to be standing at that door at 7 a.m.
Why you have to stand at the door?
Because they're going to do head count, and you better be up and present, or they're going to come in there and give you some Thorazine.
Head count means that, hey, nobody escaped?
Yeah.
Everybody's here? So you wake up, rise and shine. You're on death row. It's 7 a.m. You're stretching when you get out of bed. What's the first thing you do?
I go over to my sink. I get my little blue washcloth. I wet it.
Holy fuck.
I go over and I begin cleaning all of the surfaces of my cell, because overnight they've been covered with skin cells from the 245 death row prisoners in the block with me. It became my yoga exercise. I incorporated Kundalini yoga into this cleaning process, so I gave myself an unbelievable body.
So cleaning that small cell, I mean, that's probably got to be an hour max, right? So you look 7 to 8 a.m., you're clean.
It depends how much I wanted to fight myself. You have to understand the notion of what Kundalini yoga is. You are your greatest enemy. You're your greatest opponent. If you can beat yourself, you're a hell of a man. I never once beat myself, but I tried.
What was the next activity after cleaning?
Food, intake of food, and then start today's work.
Right.
So
food is good there?
No, I usually supplemented my diet because I was a hustler. I used to run a football pool. I had good food.
Okay.
So I used to barter with other men, and I always had fresh fruit because it staved off gout. I learned about nutrition to take care of myself, so invariably I try to stay away from the prison food because fuckheads used to shit in the vats.
Yeah.
And assholes do things to food. And sometimes the guards used to torture me for extended periods where they would walk up to my cell and spit my food before they threw it in my cell.
Mm-hmm. You eat your meal, you have a little lunch, whatever it is, and then next activity?
Reading, man.
Reading. A book a day?
5.
Really?
Like I could knock out 320-page novel in 2.5 hours.
Wow.
I was so good after a while.
Have you ever read Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire?
No, I quit reading.
It's the only book I ever read. And Shutter Island. Those are the 2 books I've read.
The greatest book I ever read was The Thesaurus because it gave me a vernacular second to none. 8 years after I got sentenced to death, I walked into a courthouse and I educated His Honor on DNA and what it meant.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I empowered myself because I had one mission. On the day they execute me, I'm going to say the most beautiful fucking thing they ever heard, and I'm going to walk out, bam.
What were your last words going to be?
I was going to do this beautiful speech about how I was like a neutrino passing through their lives and that they were ignorant of the beautiful person that I was, how much I loved myself, forgiving them for the ignorance of killing me, and then moving on and just laying it.
And maybe P.S. I didn't do it.
No,
right?
I wouldn't bother with. No, Bob.
I would have thrown that in there.
No, I wouldn't have
Like,
bothered.
hey, guys, by the way,
You got it
strap
wrong.
down here. This was not me, I promise.
You know, the biggest punishment I've endured for not being guilty hasn't really been from the judicial system in that manner. It's a weird thing. Because no one came along in the Innocence Project and got me out, I kind of like, I'm their biggest embarrassment, man.
Yeah, no shit. I was going to say, they don't want that to happen.
Fuck,
It's fucking awful for everywhere.
I know,
It
and
looks
yet
terrible.
for years I've done my best to be so gracious and work with every single one of them, but they all turned me down.
How's sleeping in prison? Is it easy? Is there a lot of noise?
Pack your ears.
Really?
Pack your fucking ears, man. It was all mental ill after 84.
Wow. Just guys screaming because nobody has the same bedtime, right? Everybody can do whatever the fuck they want.
When they are overpacked like that, it was madness, man.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you go by. Let's fast forward to. There's just so much fucking shit. But okay, let's go to now. You're starting to realize that through your readings and your DNA being learning quickly about how all that process works. When did you realize, like, you know what? I think I may be able to figure a way to prove this based on DNA and all that stuff.
I knew it early on. I just knew that I was up against a diabolical effort to destroy all the evidence. Whenever I found evidence from a laboratory, detectives from the CID would go there and take the evidence and put it in their desk.
Okay.
So shit like that.
Yeah, corrupt times.
And then I had bad luck, too. All my evidence was being shipped to California, and it burst open in shipping, and the lab refused to test it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you got what was the moment where you got your break?
2002, I write a letter to the federal court asking to be executed because I can't take this shit no more. I'm sick with hepatitis C because they beat me for 4 minutes after the escape.
Hepatitis C? I almost just drank your Diet Coke. Is that what's hepatitis
Listen,
C, by the way? Is that the?
No.
I'm not being a dick. I just don't know.
Just stop.
I'm fucking with you. Sorry. Am I allowed to joke? I'm a comedian, I guess.
I hope so, but you're second funniest in the room, so slow down. All right, Bob.
Yes, sir.
I'm fucked up from hepatitis C because the dentist infected me.
Oh, okay.
I'm run down. I just.
What's the bad one though? What's the one where you get
That
cold
is it.
sores on your dick and everything?
Oh no, you're thinking about some STD.
Oh
shit.
shit, yeah. Never mind.
Hepatitis is your blood.
Oh, okay.
You got Hep A, Hep B. You can get them from food sources and shit. Hep C, dirty needles and surgery and shit like that, right?
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry to throw you off track.
No, man, you're fine.
I was just
So we
STDs.
go through this crazy thing where I'm watching all these guys drop dead of this disease, and I'm like, oh fuck. Listening to how they're going out, bowels are impacted. You don't process your bile no more.
You can't
Everything
shit?
shuts down. No.
Oh.
You're done.
Oh,
Like it
fuck.
can't process. So you die of impacted bowel
I
syndrome.
don't even want to talk about that. That's
I
fucking
know.
horrible.
No, it was horrible. As the fuckhead nurses were going like, Mr. Carter, would you like an aspirin?
All right, I can't talk about shits and everything now. I'll freak the fuck out. All right, so hold on here. Let's switch subjects back to death row.
All right, so this
All
is
right?
why I didn't want to go out like that. And I'm like, wow, I just watched that shit. I'm not dying like that. So I wrote a letter to the court trying to end my appeals. I got the DNA because of that effort started. And in 2003, they found the killer's gloves, got the DNA from there. Then in July of that year,
Are you being aware of all this stuff? So you said, go even back.
Yeah.
We have a long time here. I love sitting with you. You go back to getting this thing written out to whatever, to bring some awareness to your thing, right?
Yeah,
And how's
just-
that received by them?
So that pissed the judge off. Well, I tried to dismiss my attorneys and asked to be executed as a convicted death row prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
The court mandated that all of the remaining evidence finally be tested with federal funding approval.
Got it.
That funding paid for Dr. Edward Blake, who did the O.J. Simpson trial evidence,
Got
to
it.
do the evidence. And in 2003, in July, they got the killer's gloves DNA to match the DNA of sperm found in the victim's underwear.
And this 1,000%, when you know that they're going to do this DNA matching thing or whatever you're talking about, right? You know you're a free man.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to match.
Yeah.
Correct?
And I got the results back, and my lawyer didn't even know it as he
That's
was
what I was
reading
going to say.
them off.
Who came up to you and said that to you?
No, I was sitting in prison, in Graterford Prison, and the guards brought the phone to my cell. I wasn't expecting the call, and my lawyer, Michael Wiseman, was like, Nick, I just got the results, and this is all deadpan. You know what I mean? I just met you on the street, like,
And I just got the results. You didn't kill her. Nobody there. Yeah. Blah.
No, well, DNA from unknown male number 1 that was found in the glove is consistent with DNA found in the victim's underwear. And I'm screaming, don't you see? That proves me innocent. If it's his DNA in his gloves and the DNA in her underwear.
No, none of your DNA anywhere?
None.
Right.
They even got another male DNA out of it from sperm. So definitely not me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to scream at him. He starts going into the rendition of how I was the office joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Nick, this is crazy, man. I got to tell you, for years, man, we doubted you, man.
Oh, so right now that you're a free man.
Well, in essence.
Right.
But I got to hear this shit. So I hang the phone up on him. I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, they got the results back. I'm in it. She's go, oh, thank God you could live again. But I can't take this call right now. Your brother Mikey's having a seizure at my feet because he stopped taking his Dilantin.
Really, Ma? I'm strapped to an electric chair in fucking 15 minutes.
Yeah, but my brother's having a grand mal seizure at her feet, poor woman.
Jesus,
so she
sorry to
can't
hear
even.
that.
Yeah,
There's just a lot going on. I don't know if I'm like not doing shit respectfully here to you.
You
There's just a
can't
lot
fucking
going on. There's
offend me.
shit's
I got
inside
gallows
of bodies.
humor.
There's fucking electric chairs. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have a fucking anxiety attack in here. I need a breather. God Almighty, Nick. So you get the news. Who was the perverse person to come up to you and say you're getting out of prison?
Oh man, Bob, you know this is my life. They fucked it up. They botched my relief on my morning of my release. They botched it. They set up. Ready?
How do you do that?
You say goodbye to the prisoner with his little shit, and you put him in the van. Then they drive you around the prison. And then you get up to that first gate, and the gate opens. Yeah, there's your mom and dad. The press is out there. Get up to that second gate. They're like, oh man, we fucked up. You can't go.
No way.
I swear to God.
You're like
The dude driving the van was so pissed off, he refused to turn the vehicle right and drive back. He backed up.
Was it like the offense problem, or was it like a legal thing?
Oh, it was a legal thing. So I had to go back to prison again.
That's actually dangerous too, because I can imagine there could be some crazies in there that just don't want you to fucking, you got free, they're jealous, they want to come in and fucking stab you.
Even worse. No, the administration was terrified of me, and they told me they ain't letting
Jesus
you.
Christ.
They said, after what we did to you, we ain't letting you out because you're going to kill one of us.
Not only that, I mean, they just don't want the story to get out.
So
that's fucking crazy. So you get out, though. You made it through that fucking fence, and you are a free man. 22 years on death row, and you are finally seeing. What was the first thing you noticed when you I guess went out? Well, you already been outside.
No, man. My dad asked me that. He said, Nick, what's the first thing you notice right now? Like, look around. What's changed? What's gone, man? I said, hubcaps.
Mm-hmm.
Pop, everything's alloy wheels, or if they ain't.
It would have been crazy. It's like flying cars and shit, like flying by and everything. No,
that would have been
weird.
But
cool.
no, it was like, seriously though, Bob.
You know what you
there ain't no more hubcaps, boy.
You know what you really deserve probably when you first get out of there? A hooker.
Yeah, that was weird. I was wondering about that shit, man. I was like, well, I ain't had pussy in 20-some years.
You got to go right to the hooker.
No, man.
You deserve it. I think that should be a fucking rule. You should not be getting in trouble for it.
I actually got a break. I got somebody cool that I knew before I went to jail who came and picked me up one night and said, look.
Gave you a little death row post roadie?
Yeah, well, they were saying, look, I'm worried about you. You might be fucked up in the head, so I'm going to fuck you.
You
Make
think?
sure you're okay.
Yeah. Oh, nice. There you go. Perfect.
In my parents' basement, no less.
No way.
Get in there.
Man, oh, man.
Right? Well, I was living down there. When I first got out, look,
yeah, well,
I had to live
they don't. Well, this is my other thing too. I mean, they don't.
Bob, crazy.
Do you get anything for when you get thrown out of? We talked about this. So they fucked up for 22 years, right?
I got $7 of my own money and sent on my way.
$7 of your own money and sent on your way. 22 years of your life gone. Is this Pennsylvania alone, or is this every state?
Some states, Texas pays you $80,000 a year when they get it wrong.
No, you fucked up then. You should have fucking.
I know.
Man, oh,
should have made up a lie somewhere else.
Man, oh man. So what you get out? You got $7 to your name. Do you get tempted to go robbing, stealing cars again?
No, I decided sitting there that night on my first night, this all had to have meaning. So 7 months later, I was standing in London addressing a joint session of Parliament. I used my education to create an education.
Guy went in stealing cars. Now he's fucking Albert Einstein.
Fucking right. You're fucking right. I'm probably the smartest man you're ever going to meet in some regards, but I'm also fucked up. So
really,
yeah, man, I can do shit like you would. I wrote.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Me and you competed against each other. And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I'll whip your ass.
Really?
I'm a grandmaster level chess player. I've written the last book I wrote, Monsters and Madmen, in 3 days.
Well, why haven't you been on fucking Jeopardy there, hotshot?
Because I have been destitute because COVID wiped me out. Yeah. You notice I've been living in the
woods. If it wasn't for COVID, he would have been on Jeopardy, folks.
No, when COVID struck, I was on my way to Copenhagen for 4 nights speaking at the Royal Ballet Theatre, and I was doing well. And then COVID ripped everything apart. And then I lost my wife. Everything went crazy. I'm just now getting my shit together.
You ever study crocodiles?
No, but I've studied a lot of things, man.
That's my fascination is I get really I just like crocodiles. I don't know why I'm like so obsessed with crocodiles.
Man, the caiman's even more dangerous if you think about it because they're lighter, faster, and they don't give up.
Sometimes I'll spend hours on hours just on YouTube, and I will just sit there and watch that poor little leopard come up and drink out of the fucking little pond. And he's just fucking standing there. He knows, too. He's so thirsty. He knows that, like, there's shit in there. And he just fucking, he's doing it and he's
They
hesitant.
got the ones that run across their backs, man.
Oh, those are the fucking ridiculous. They're all fucking jumping around in there. I mean, can't they find an alternative route? I don't get it. They're
That's
not
how I felt in prison.
the gazelles, right?
No matter which way I went, Bob, it just kept getting crocodile, man.
What would you choose, electric chair or eaten by a crocodile?
Fuck me. No, give me the electric chair.
Electric chair, that's what I was going to say,
Yeah.
too. You
So
know?
they changed it, so they were going to give me the injection later on. So all I wanted to do was just work so hard on becoming a beautiful speaker so that when they killed me, I didn't fuck up. That's all I lived for.
Well, thank God you didn't have to give that speech.
Yeah, I know, right? I did it, though, when I got out. I only did it once in my life.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it, but I did it once.
I mean, what a slap in the face here on Rip Magoo
Fuck
fucking
yes,
podcast.
Of course, of course.
I'll give you the fucking State of the Union if you want it here, you know?
Man, no,
You
but
know?
if
hey.
I love it, the fact that we're doing this whole podcast. I keep thinking this is a baseball game. You got a great fucking baseball
Well,
announcer's
there
voice.
he is. He's making his way out of the death penalty chamber, making his way in towards the electric
Oh,
chair.
hold on, Bob.
that
I
sensitive
do
on-
think I see. Is that Joe Buck coming up to say that you're a fuckface? Oh my God, this is an interference call.
No, that is 40,000 volts of lightning that is going to be fired through his body any minute now. Yeah, no, the voice is always there. I
love it.
Yeah.
That's why I was so happy to sit down and hang out with you, man, because
We talked a lot on DM.
I know. And plus, you made me two of the funniest things I've seen in the last year on the internet. You busting on Dad for looking like he needs to be restricted from school areas.
Oh, my dad? Yeah. He looked sketchy.
But that was a great photo bust. That was a good one.
Yeah. You follow my stuff actively, or is it kind of...
Yeah, you're annoying enough to be funny, man.
What makes me annoying, though?
No, man, I'm just busting.
I need to think
No,
about this.
I think.
Do you think I've hit rock bottom?
No, Bob. I actually think that you have a gift.
Real great guy to ask, but you think I hit rock bottom, Nick? Do you think I've hit it?
I could show you rock bottom. No, I think you got a gift because you got a uniqueness to it, and that's what every player out there is doing. Like, they have a uniqueness to it. So as long as you hold on to and keep going with that uniqueness, don't compare yourself to others.
What do you do, Nick, when you just want to give up?
Jerk off. Oh, sorry. Go.
No, but see, the jerk off thing, no, I'll tell you this. It definitely, jerking off, it definitely takes your mind off for a brief moment. But then after you come, it's just fucking,
Wow. I didn't think this would deteriorate, but I deserve that. No, all right. So I faced a monumental amount of tragedy and trauma in my life.
And we're back. Good transition. Jerking
and
off to sadness and fucking sorrow. I don't listen. I don't know.
Yeah, post-coming, yeah. No, I've really, back to your point, though, I've really learned to be gifted at handling sorrow and mourning and loss. I've derived so much strength from the things that I've gone through that it's incredible that I'm still sane. I've really been pushed and hurt, and I really didn't want any of that reflected in us talking and hanging out like guys, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to finally show people that this is me in my life. Mm-hmm. If you hung out with me and there weren't no, this is what we would be doing, just chatting shit, right? So
I'd be playing Buffy's.
I love it, man. I love it that I finally got to have a relaxed enough atmosphere where I could be myself without having to work through the mental strain of keeping on point with my whole story needing to be the only fucking topic.
How hard is it to get a job after all that stuff?
Oh man, I'm a great cook. I've had many jobs. My latest job, my best job.
I was going to say, you don't have really that impressive a resume when you get out of prison. They're like, so what have your last 5 years of work experience been? Welp.
I was wiping my floor out. No, I'm a
I was
really
cleaning
good
my
cook.
sink 23 hours a day.
My dream is to have a
staring
food truck
at the
all over-
wall.
I would love to have a food truck all over Europe and make amazing Philly cheesesteaks and eggs Benedict all over Europe.
That's still a bucket list goal?
Man, that's a bucket list dream.
You know what? You know, Nick, I'm pretty capable of doing some crazy things, and I usually overpromise and underdeliver, but I may just be able to get that damn food truck going at some point.
Bob, you know, I came on here.
I'm kind of
without-
fucking with you, but I'm serious.
I know, but at the same time, I came on here without any hope of anything other than what I told you. Me and you talking, someone listening to us is going some fucked up shit right now. They're hurt.
1,000%.
And you and me got them to laugh and not hurt themselves. And me and you talking, me and you today did some fucking good.
It's important to do, especially when you have such a reach. I think you do have a duty to do that stuff.
I love you, man.
I
I'm
talked
so
the kid off
grateful that
suicide once,
Yeah.
I really did.
I've
I
been
swear to
doing
God.
that every day. I could show you my phone. I just got a guy to get away from heroin by taking a fucking car ride.
Look at us. We're like Nobel Peace Prize fucking
No,
winners
but
in here,
that's
huh?
what it is, man. Look, you got to do the good that you get a chance to. Otherwise, why the fuck are you looking for good?
Yeah, but I also do some bad, too, so I got to
Yeah, well, you got to have a balance. And you're the only one that's going to punish yourself over that shit, so let it go.
What do you think happens when you die?
I know that energy never dies, so all I can do possibly is be nice to the energy I have left.
You think me and you are floating around and fucking up in the sky and doing all that, or is it just...
I don't know, man. I've already encountered ghosts and shit, so their energy's real.
Ghosts aren't real. Come on.
Fucking right they are.
No, they're not.
Man, I had one living in my house in England, and I met one on death row. I was in a prison cell that had fucking writing on it from the 1900s, man.
That's scary.
Yeah, because that prison was originally built for mentally disturbed men who were chaotically violent.
Okay.
Okay? And I can't imagine what they treated them like in the 1800s when that shit was built.
Oh, forget about it.
Right. So
There are no
there
rules.
was some weird shit that happened on that block, man, like over and over.
Like, whoo, like ghosts popping out? Like
Shit happened. Like I was under attack once and I heard a voice in my head, and if I didn't turn my head in the time, I'd be dead now.
the ghost would have killed you?
The ghost saved me.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever that energy was. You call it whatever it is, but I used to have a bounty on me, man, and people tried to kill me a lot of times, all right?
That's, yeah.
So one time I just heard, and I turned, and I got saved, and I headbutted the dude and got that shit out of my stomach, and I'm okay now.
Did you communicate with the ghost after? Did you, do you see him, or after, is it a visual thing?
It's an auditory energy, like.
Was it hallucinations at all, or was you think it was a ghost?
No, man, that's crazy.
Okay.
I don't know how to go to fuck crazy. The
Yeah.
shit I've been through, I don't know how to go crazy.
Yeah, I had one instance. I stayed at this really haunted hotel in Newburyport, Mass. It's called the Garrison Inn, and they had told me it was haunted for a long, long time, and I was like, fuck it. Sarah Bannister in room 429 or something like that had this, this fucking room, and she supposedly spooked the fuck out of everybody and all this shit. So I didn't really believe it. I went in there, stayed there by myself. Great place to take a girl, by the way. You ever want to have a date with a girl, you take her to a fucking haunted house. Her panties are off in fucking 15 seconds. Anyways, I'm in the fucking room, and first night, nothing happens. Second night, nothing happens. Third night, nothing happens. Fourth night, I'm fucking sleeping, and all of a sudden, the shower just fucking turns on out of nowhere. Just downstairs, full blast, and there's no way that the shower can turn on because you have to turn the knob. It was full blast. I woke up, spooked the fuck out, never went back ever since. That's my shitty ghost story, by the way. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. No, I do believe that if the energy never dies, then there has to be ghosts.
Yeah, who the fuck knows? Why even care? Why do we even debate ghosts or whatever? Like, does it matter?
No, but it's a fun topic to fuck with people about, especially when you run up behind them and yell boo and hit them with a baseball bat.
That's one way to do it. I mean, I think that, so nowadays, what are some things before we kind of wrap this up? Scott, how long have we been talking for?
You guys are at 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, wow. Can you believe Rogan does 3 hours of these? You ever met Joe?
Yeah, I was on his podcast, number 1171.
I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
How long did you guys speak for?
2 hours.
2 hours.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, my ADD kicks in.
That's all right, man.
No, I love it.
I
I just never know. I always just bring it up awkwardly, and I start to kind of, not that I'm not interested or
You
anything.
know what is something cool, Bob?
Yeah.
You just experienced death row's time warp, where you didn't know what time had much passed because you were occupied. But imagine that.
Multiply that times 700 trillion.
Fucking right. Now you got it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what my life was like.
42 years not drinking?
Yeah, I don't drink, man. I can't. I was such an embarrassment to myself, and I'm sorry, but if you fuck your life up that bad and you go back and start drinking again, you're an asshole.
So, was it hard to quit drinking?
No, man, you wake up on death row, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, you just made that point.
Yeah, the great thing was I spent so many years lucid and developing in a non-intoxicating environment. My whole DNA, my whole makeup as a person changed. I didn't need to hide from myself anymore.
It was definitely too. Go ahead. You don't need to hide yourself anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like too that alcohol and drugs ruined your life,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't think any of that stuff happens without the alcohol and the drugs. It really fucks up everything, huh?
Yeah, it really. All right, so
Why do we do it?
all right,
drugs?
so
I don't get it.
Most people are masking a pain that they can't deal with, or a reality about themselves they don't like.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I used to be big into the blow.
right, and a lot of that is because you couldn't keep up with yourself enough to obliterate the world, and that's what you wanted. You wanted your structured reality going. You wanted Bob time. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't want when it came to the silence, so you kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel for you because I needed.
What do you mean you feel for me?
Because I was a meth head.
I'm not a fucking meth head, but
no, but it's the same thing. I needed the speed.
Yeah.
To make me feel alive, that edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Couple zaps. That's what we call it nowadays. Got to slow down the zaps.
Yeah. Well,
The alcohol thing though, I do drink to. Sometimes I'll take the whole when I take the whole bottle. I'll drink it like right out of the bottle.
that's crazy, Bob. You probably spent more on alcohol than I've had food in the last year, man.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's crazy what you don't realize it in that context of it gone.
no, I know it's gone. The money's running
Yeah.
real low.
And-
So yeah, it's gone. Don't worry.
No. And the weird thing is, the things that you did during that time is all gone, man. None of it's a memory. None of it's there.
Yeah, but I had some pretty fun, fucked up nights. I'm not gonna lie about that. This is it. I don't condone drugs, drinking at all. I mean, well, drinking's fine, but the drug thing is just no. But I've had some great memories. But it definitely, when you get fucked up, you don't make the best
No,
decisions.
I know. I just, for my own personal choice, I don't trust myself.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, you did some pretty stupid shit. So
Right. So why do that again? And plus, I've built so many people up. I can't break their hearts, man.
yeah.
I'm going to have to do this superhero cape thing for a long time, man, because a lot of people have looked up to me and said, if he hasn't stuck a pistol in his mouth, I'm not.
Why haven't you done more, in a sense? If it seems like somebody like you with such a powerful story, have you ever did your story ever been turned into anything?
I have a major motion picture deal right now. It's just that the pandemic ruined everything.
That's an excuse. Come on, how can we help you? Can we help you at all? Maybe this podcast gets it out. We got to get his story fucking out. This is a great story.
Eduardo Vesticule is producing it. A beautiful, beautiful Mexican director, Alejandro Monteverde, wants to direct it. Anthony Samandani, the head of the Muhammad Ali Foundation or associated with it, is producing it.
How long has it been in the making for here?
6 years.
Yeah, there you go. That's your problem. So it's not going to fucking happen.
So
let's
put the magic to the
I got you. This is what we're going to do here, hopefully. Bob Menery, agent. I got my new client here. We're going to make a fucking movie with you. What about public speaking? How come you don't do any public speaking?
I did 500 of them at least, but I lost my speaking opportunities when everything went sideways. My other dream would be to go to Dublin and do a one-man stage play. Like, I would love to do...
I'll join you.
Dude, I'm so gifted at doing it. I know it. And I could blow the room away. So I just either, if I can't go feed people, I want to go back and reunite with my wife and children who I miss. And I want to, do something fucking good, man. I miss my girls and I miss my wife. And I'm leaving, I'm getting the fuck out of America, man. I'm done.
It is pretty amazing how strong of a person you are, though. It is cool to see across the room.
Oh,
You've been
fuck
through
yeah,
so much.
man.
You're a strong dude, which is amazing, which I love, which is cool.
Do you know why? Because no one's taking my kindness. The day someone steals your kindness from me, Bob, you're weak.
How would you steal my kindness?
Insulting you to the point that you couldn't help it no more but hate me, or making yourself so bitter in life that you can't be nice to someone. You've been good to me for almost a year now, almost, right?
I got 9 million people that do that every fucking day. Truthfully.
I know.
Exactly what you just described. Yeah, I mean, the Dublin thing is interesting. Are you an actor?
No, but I have worked so hard to speak eloquently. I have a beautiful one-man stage play I could do, or...
What would the one-act stage play be? I'd really like acting.
Oh,
shit.
I'll
I'll be in it.
I would love.
Oh, it's a one-act stage play. Never mind.
Well, no, I'd love to be able to go on stage and enrapture the audience in a beautiful, detailed manner and fucking blow them away. I've had some big ones. I spoke at the Colosseum in Rome.
Dude, you could do. I'm sorry. That's unbelievable. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
This is so beautiful. 2004, 10 months out of death row, beautiful black suit. I walk up on stage. There's 20,000 people in attendance at the fucking Coliseum. An actor in beautiful Italian has just finished reading Tolstoy's The Executioner. I walk on stage. Doves are let out of white boxes and fly up. I walk up to the fucking microphone and I take a moment. To my beautiful Italian family, with my interpreter saying it as well. I love you. Thank you for letting me be here. If this is all a dream and I wake up in the morning, so be it. I'm going to give this one night to you as if it's my whole life. Thank you for my freedom. And I walked off stage.
I said that to my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend last night before. Truthfully, that was the exact same speech I gave. That's beautiful. It's really nice. At the Coliseum, too. That's fucking amazing.
That's amazing.
You know what? Back to the one-act play
Not this
thing.
Coliseum.
I'm not blowing
in
your
America.
your whatever the fuck it is. Listen, a one-act play for you should be like a smoky stage, and like there should just be like I'm not being disrespectful, like, but there should be like an electric chair, like sitting there, like not trying to be funny. Right?
No, this is fucking
Okay.
brilliant. You go. I want to hear
I'm
this.
thinking how I would do your one-act play is I would do, I don't know, like maybe you open, it opens, like the curtain opens, there's smoke, and like you're strapped to the electric chair, and you give like a monologue.
Or sit next to the fucking electric chair the whole time and do the monologue.
Doing what?
Sit next to the electric chair the whole time doing the monologue and then finish by almost walking over and sitting in it.
Your final scene is after, your final scene is...
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe after you die. No, I don't know. Wow, this could be a really good one-act play that I could
By the
think
way,
of.
I just wrote a brand new hit TV series. I'm a great writer. So I got the next Breaking Bad, I bet you.
Really?
Yeah. It's fucking fantastic, man. I did a pitch for it last week, and the dude said, that's the best television pitch I ever heard in my career.
Scott, you want to come in here to sit in for 10 minutes with us? You mind cutting in, Scott? I want Scotty's the man. And Scotty's joins the podcast. He helps me produce
Look,
these.
if you need to go out and wing up on some heroin to slow shit down, don't worry about it, man. Just
Listen,
don't
brother,
dump the
listen,
fucking
man.
needle outside.
Listen, man, come on. I'm not very good
You
at
got to get your fentanyl on, get it on, man.
that shit's dangerous.
I know, that's scary. That's what the worst part of
I
going
can't
to
even
Philly
talk. I
was.
can't even talk about it. I'll be honest with you. I can't. It's so sad.
No, because I couldn't go to Philly because it's everywhere.
Yeah, no shit. Scooty, is your camera on though? No, right? You only have two cameras, so it'll just be audio? Yeah. All right, that's fine. You can just be like the voice of reason in the background. Yeah. I love it. Which kind of sucks, though. Do you want to set up the camera real quick?
I can set up the camera.
Yeah, set up the camera. I'll talk to Nick a little longer. You got a rush? You anywhere to go?
I'm good.
All right, so the goals are, what are your plans after this? You go back, do you live where do you live now? You just kind
I
of jumping
live in-
around?
No, I live in the forest in a broke down 1995 RV, man.
Really?
Yeah, I told you I've been destitute. I live off of $360 a month food stamps, man.
I am so fucking pissed that the fucking state doesn't do anything for that.
It's
That is-
okay. I have to go. I know, but I thought about this. The only way I can get to where I'm going is I have to pay my tolls, and I'm not going to cry about my tolls.
And I do see, I'll give you a plug. I don't usually like to give plugs for these things, but I think that you would be somebody that would deserve it, I think. I did see a GoFundMe link in your thing.
Yeah, so some friends of mine put up. I didn't ask. I can't do it. I can't bring myself.
Relax.
No, I'm just
You don't
saying.
have to fucking explain.
No.
I mean, at the end of the day, if
One
you're
of the
hurting
great
for
things-
cash flow, that's the reason, the purpose of a GoFundMe. And
Yeah,
if there's
so-
anybody that fucking deserves a little something, Nick, it's you. I hate to say it. So
So-
I'll be donating $5.
Fucking seven,
the-
the
to
same
the-
as the prison gave me.
That's it.
Goddamn
I'll
it.
be donating $5 to the GoFundMe, and you can join me now. But hopefully we can, if you're living in a van down by the river, hopefully we can upgrade you a little bit because you've
so
lived one
my
hell of a
goal-
life. It's fucking crazy, man. I look up to you in a sense of just how strong you are as a person and all that you've been through with the loss of your child and obviously everything. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
appreciate that, man.
So, and have you ever thought about starting a podcast?
I did. I wanted to call it the man in the street. I wanted to go help people, but it takes a lot of resources. When you're destitute, all those things are a dream.
What about call? What I mean, I can't. I don't want to make jokes about this either. I mean, are you like?
Why? I'm cool with it.
You're cool with it?
I got gallows humor.
Okay, cool.
You can't out-funny me.
I just don't want to deal with comments and be like, you were a dick and all that. I'm like, I just don't
Bob, you're worried about the wrong parts of the audience. Those people that watch and like you, man, they know.
They know what the fuck I am.
They know you.
They know I'm a good guy.
Well,
all right, so you should make a fucking podcast called The Electric Chair.
Oh, snap.
And you strap somebody down to the electric chair and they can't move.
Wait, that's
No,
taking
all right,
the
that's
next
too
level.
far,
Yeah,
that's too
but they could sit in an electric chair, and I interview them.
Or you just, or you do like,
They don't use it anymore, so of course.
While I was sitting back there, you're such an eloquent speaker. Would you ever do like a mini series where you do 8 episodes and it's kind of your story front to back, narrated by yourself?
Sure.
Yeah, we just did a podcast here called Bust with Ryan Leaf. He was a former
I
NFL
know he is.
quarterback.
Yeah, and he broke into the house after losing his marbles. I mean,
Yeah.
drugs
Yep.
really fucked his life up.
Really fucked it up.
What
yeah.
a talented young man, too, and it's a shame.
Yeah, but he got his life back on track too. He's doing really well.
Yeah, no. My hope, Scott, honestly, man, I've been going through a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with CTE, so I'm fucked. And I want to do as much as I can before I lose my marbles.
Yeah.
And it's bad because I took so many shots to the head, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to do as much work as I possibly can, hoping to leave a nice legacy. So I've thrown down the gauntlet to myself. I wrote a brand new TV series that's going to be awesome because it's a different take on the judicial system never before heard. I also am in the process of writing a children's book from having worked on a really cool equestrian property that had handicapped children on it. And my job was to take care of the horses on the property so the handicapped children could spend time with the animals.
Wow.
It was so rewarding, man. Yeah, and I had a fear of animals, and this one horse taught me how not to be afraid of them.
Animal therapy is crazy, huh?
It is so beautiful because they had a little girl on the property who would thrash. But when she spent time with the pony, and just the pony, sat there like a little stone and just watched the pony.
Is that like those service dogs? Is that
It's
what it
the
is?
same thing, yeah. So neuroplasticity healing comes from animal interaction, where you can overcome PTSD, traumas, shyness, all kind of social issues. Animals give off a different neuropathological energy than human beings.
I mean, they definitely work, obviously, but a lot of people, cheat that system just to get their dogs on an airplane, I think, too, right? Not to be, I'm serious.
We're talking about the different one where those people are brought in to specifically act with certain
Oh,
animals.
of course. Yeah.
We're talking about horses in this case, where I worked as a caretaker on an equestrian property that had handicapped children on it.
Yes. Okay.
And it was so good that these children spent that time with them.
I did 5 years. I took care of Charlie was his name. He had autism, and I do actually remember that. We used to go, I think, twice a week to, there was a little horse farm.
Yeah.
And,
And Charlie got all of this enrichment in his brain and everything.
Oh, yeah. He
it's-
was riding the horses. I was over there playing blackjack on my cell phone, being a horrible caretaker. But, it was a good 5 years.
How did Charlie do rolling a joint for you, though?
How did Charlie do rolling a joint for me? I can't. I mean, I couldn't smoke weed, but I still can't smoke weed that much. I get too fucking paranoid, dude. I go to the hospital. I've been to the hospital 5 times this year.
Really?
Yeah. My bill. I just got the bill. It's like $11,000.
Bob,
I thought
you
I had
don't
fucking
need
insurance.
any of that shit, man.
No, I
Give me a
don't- I'm
call.
not- I'm not
Listen,
being
no.
paranoid?
Fuck that.
Yeah,
no.
the heart
But in
attack.
all right, but in the meantime,
Yeah.
pick up the fucking phone and call me.
All right. You're my sponsor.
No, not only that, I'm the one person you can talk to, man.
All right. Well, I'll take you up on that. 100%.
Now, from now on, I mean this. You know you got my number, and I'm not bullshitting you. Fuck the podcast, everything else.
Yeah, of course.
I can't let you do that, man.
I don't anymore, though. I don't because my girlfriend
I
threw out
don't
all my
mean
weed.
I don't mean about the weed. I mean drama, and you're going through shit. Pick the fucking phone up and call me, all right?
Nick, I appreciate that. That means a lot. And
I'm not bullshitting. I fucking mean it.
And the same goes for you, truthfully. I'm just in a fucking, I'm in a high-strung mood right now because I have some shit going on, and I, just kind of a little bit.
Look what just happened to me. So, yeah, we both got it going on, brother. That's why we
Yeah, I
needed
can't believe
this.
I'm complaining in front of Nick here.
No, but that's all right because no one knows what your shoes feel like, man.
Yeah, sometimes it gets dark. The
And
clouds.
when you diminish yourself, this is part of a cycle that feeds all the bullshit.
Right.
So I don't want you to do that. Like, the shit that you're going through is the shit only Bob can handle. Scott can't handle it, and I can't deal with it. That's because only you can deal with this, man. So
You think it is important to have a support system, I guess, if you are having, I mean, do you have people that you talk to? Or is
I'm only here today because of the people in my life. And none of us got to this point alone, man. I got some amazing, amazing friends. I got people in my life that are all around the world. If I went to Poland today, I'd have an automobile that was insured and a place to stay. If I went to England today, friends would pick me up at the airport and take care of me. If you know what I mean? Like, I have these amazing bonds with people who love me, and because of that, I'm unafraid.
What do you do when a great friend betrays you, though? How do you handle that?
I dismiss them. I don't ever let no one
I've done a good
ever
job of
owe
that.
me. No, because I'm going to teach you a lesson. If you spend time having enemies in your life, you're an idiot. They own you, and you spend an inordinate amount of time fucking thinking about them, or even considering this bullshit notion that you have to forgive them to move on. No, that's bullshit. If you fuck me over, you're dismissed, and I'm done with you. Do you get it? I don't have time to talk to you. I don't have time to feel bad about what happened. I don't even need to forgive you. We're just done.
What if you owe me money?
Then if you owe me money, then that's I own you. I have a story for you. Me and my dad's riding down Southwest Philadelphia streets, and I see this kid Walter owes me $5. I'm like, Dad, let me out. I'm going to go punch him in his face. He said, you idiot. He paid you $5 to get out of his life.
I can't relate to that story with this situation.
Dude, I've been robbed for $4 million, man. All my compensation got stolen from me, Bob. My wife, Karen Carbritz, robbed me back in England. I went through everything you're saying. The only reason you can't let go is because you don't want to let go.
Yeah, that's true.
So dig this. Whatever they got from you is pennies from your pockets, because you're now still moving on, making new money, right?
Yeah, I got to get a little bit back, though.
All right, well, look, get it back if you can. Get it back if you can.
Yeah.
But let it go. Because you're going to get to a point where you either just drive yourself nuts over it.
Already happened.
Yeah. And this is what I'm saying to you. What's it worth to your mental health to drive yourself crazy over money, man? I've lost millions. Bob, I had a book published by HarperCollins that got canceled. I had every opportunity in life, and I've lost millions of dollars. I'm grateful because I stopped getting robbed. Maybe that was my lesson. Maybe it's not yours. But at the same time, please don't let someone steal your kindness by being a betraying person in your life. They're actually asking for a way out. Give them their way out. Get your money back as best you can. If not, fuck them.
Move on, right?
Yeah, because you're a better man.
Shahidi? No, just kidding.
No, but dude, be the
I'm
better.
fucking with you, of
No,
course.
seriously, be the better man and rise up in your actions, because that's going to also stop you from doing dumb shit. Because we
You're making
internalize.
amazing points. You really are.
It really comes down to this. Do you want to internalize over some fuckhead, or do you want to have a brilliant day with me today?
I would rather most likely, obviously, have a better day with you, but it's also sometimes, I think, a
can't-
little
I
fun
know.
to have fun to fucking internalize. And no, but it really isn't. I don't know.
It's
No,
not
man,
fun
it
for
isn't.
you.
No, it's not. All right,
No,
maybe it's doing it really bad.
poisonous, and it's toxic, and
Yeah.
it makes you ugly. I refuse to let anybody fuck my head up. Look, I thought about this a lot, man. This is my life. I'm going to run this shit like a cinema. I'm going to be reunited with my wife. I'm like the comeback kid of 2023, sitting before you. I'm coming out of the fucking woods. I'm going back and getting my kids and my wife. I'm going to go and make people happy or feed them, or I'm going to have a fucking purpose. You know why? Because I'm a winner, Bob. I fucking walked off death row. I beat the fuck out of them. I got the fuck out of there, and I became eloquently beautiful because I deserve that. This is my life. Someone wants to fuck with me. What they're not going to do is occupy a part of that.
Do you react differently? Great point. Do you react differently nowadays to, say, bad energy than you would back in the day?
Yes. First and foremost.
Back in the day, you take a baseball bat at somebody's fucking head.
Oh, my God, I was so violent.
And now
Look,
today,
I got kicked out of the Philadelphia school system for stabbing a teacher.
and now you dismiss today.
Now, I know I'm dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford, as a professionally trained fucking martial arts person, to hurt people. I know how to kill people, man. I don't want to fight. So I am very good and adept at not being suckered into it. But if it comes to it, I'm okay because I know what I can do. So I don't get all jacked up. And you're not going to fight with me, and I'm not going to give off the energy because I'm so far over here being this amazingly nice, kind person, I usually don't even catch it. But I had this incident. As you know, I'm coming back now from Philly, going to do this documentary, right? There was 3 kids on the street, and they was like talking code. They don't know I'm Southwest Philly. So they're
I
like,
love when his gangster comes out.
yeah, because this is them. They're like, yo, swoop. And I'm like, fuck yes. I'm like, fuck around and find out. I'm getting geeked. I'm up on my toes. I'm like pumped. They're like, wow, we set this motherfucker up. They ain't going to attack me because they saw my reaction to them possibly swooping me and robbing me.
Is that the code word swoop?
Yeah, Philly, it's swoop.
Swoop. Interesting. You an Eagles fan?
Yeah, man, die hard.
You watch football?
Yeah, man, I went to the Eagles-Giants game and watched them dismantle the Giants. And the shame of it is for the NFL to have such a subpar playing surface for 2 quality teams, we only saw half the game. My boy Hassan Reddick, one of the best players of this past year, got knocked to the ground over and over, had no footing. Both defenses struggled. It was such a joke. For a multi-billion-dollar corporation to have a field that's overwatered like that is an embarrassment. The game ended because of that. That's a joke. And I'm sorry, but look, I can't believe some of the ways that this performance of having something bigger than the game at halftime has taken the fuck over. I'm against it. I don't want
You
a
don't
big...
think the showy business shit is too...
Man, look, 32 billionaires are sucking the life out of us for a half-hour intermission between the fucking game. I'm so hardcore Philly Eagles. I want them to have a 5-minute break and come out there and bust each other up.
Yeah, you know why they do that? Obviously, probably because
Money.
It attracts the women.
Look, no, it looks
it's
ridiculous
very
that we're
sexist.
doing like what $25 million per commercial for 30 seconds.
7.
Fucking crazy.
So it was when it started off. I think the first commercial was like 40,000 or something like that.
Something like that.
Now
yeah.
it's up to 7 million.
But it interrupts what these guys train for every year is to have an intermission at halftime that is set, and everybody's on a schedule. When you play professional, look, man, I could have been a great safety. My favorite player, I'm sorry, was Eric Allen from the Philadelphia Eagles. This boy had magic. Now everybody talks about Dawkins, and I love Dawkins, right? Mm-hmm. But Eric Allen could change the game. I remember the 91 team, we should have just blew through everyone. Best defense ever. Reggie White, Clyde Simmons, all these guys. And Randall Cunningham gets his knee blown out in the first game. And as a reward that season, I watched Eric Allen return a kick in the Giants Stadium and run over and give the ball to Randall, man. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I could have been that dude, man. That was my position.
Whoa. Hold on. You think you could have been an NFL player?
Oh, absolutely,
Come
man.
on, really?
Dude, at 6'2", I had a fastball. I'm left-handed. I had a fastball that broke on you, just cut your knees.
You look like a pitcher.
Dude, I was a great pitcher, and I was a great safety.
I'm
I would light
just
you
saying.
up. No.
NFL's a big, that's
Yeah, but I never got to play, and I was a junkie, but I still had all the talent.
right.
But I knew that was my position. That's the one I loved.
Safety.
Yeah, because they had
That's like Troy Polamalu was the guy.
No, Joyner. Minnesota's Joyner. Mm-hmm. Joey Joyner. Oh, my God. This dude was the whole defense. Before there was a Deion Sanders, there was Joyner. Mm-hmm. And the Minnesota Vikings defense was shit without him. He was just that good. He was like the kid from Washington that got killed. He was just remarkable, man.
Yeah.
There's a safety. The safety is such an important position to the NFL game.
He's like the quarterback of the defense, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, they're changing it. They got this fucked up weird thing. Everything's hybrid. Mm-hmm. There's this weird thing. There's no man. I remember when Ray Lewis used to be Ray Lewis, right? He couldn't play now. The NFL doesn't have the middle linebacker set up to be the captain. It's the safety.
Right.
Because they have so many nickel packages and dime packages, they don't have really a weak side linebacker that's a weak side linebacker. He's an edge rusher. Mm-hmm. Like everything's morphed. Yeah. And I'm sad to say that they fucked the game up a lot too, and in some certain ways, because I'm a purist, you know what I mean? I don't like a lot of shit that they did. So I love football. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Going back to, not to bring it all the way back, but the prison thing, did you ever get to watch sports in prison?
Yeah, I ran a football pool.
Oh, so you
That's how
were
we got the fruits.
nice. What were the stakes?
No, so everybody got to pick all.
What happens if you're like, hey, Johnny, I can't
All
pay
right.
my bets this week? They'd have fucking axed your
No,
head there.
everybody pays up front. All right, so it goes like this.
What if you're late on a payment?
10 envelopes you get to pay. You pick all the games on Sunday, and the Monday night game, the tiebreaker of the final score combined, what you predicted, would be the tiebreaker for the whole thing. And I collected all of the envelopes and kept bank with this dude, Joey Diamato from South Philadelphia.
Joey D'Amato.
Yeah, Joey fucking Diamato would knock your fucking head off.
I don't want to fuck with Joey
fucking
D'Amato.
Joey.
Right? I don't want to fuck with him.
So me and Joey ran the fucking pool on B Block, and we paid the runner a free ticket for distributing the master ticket. So you would receive a master ticket with everybody else's ticket, so no one else could cheat. Everybody's picks are on one sheet.
Did anybody ever cheat?
No, man. And it was great money, and I did good with that.
You
And then
weren't fucking around with the pool a little bit?
You can't fuck around. Everybody's watching the same games. Yeah, and everybody's got a master sheet copy.
What's inside the envelopes?
No, paid envelopes is a way to communicate, and it's cash in jail.
Oh.
Did the guards know about this or no?
Fuck yeah, they were in on it.
Yeah.
I helped a lot of guards with fantasy football. I had a dude buy a car for his missus off of bets that I put down for him on a parlay one weekend, and he won $30,000 off me.
Wow.
How do you do your research in there?
I'm all day on sports during the
Guy's like
season.
a fucking wizard, dude.
Fucking right. I was, oh my God, like every college, like I know all of the 20-some names of universities that don't end with their school team having an S, like the Cardinal from Sanford, yeah, the Wolf Pack. Like I was such a nut about football. I know crazy things. Like I know there's 20-some colleges without an S on the end of their team.
Who do you think was the scariest, like most dangerous man in death row where you were?
Oh man.
I mean,
No, this is crazy because he was stalking me at one point. So
what do you mean?
I was, after the escape, they put me on death row with Ted Bundy and shit like that in Florida, right? So there was a guy in there who wanted to kill me, and he had got strangled at one point, and now this dude's only like 5'1", but he's fucking muscle all day long in the hot sun working out like an eel, you know what I mean? And he'd be like, hey, white boy Nick, white boy, come here, I gotta tell you something. I'd be like, yeah, what's up, James? He'd go, boy, I sure like to kill you. I look at you, you so big and strong, look at them muscles. He said, this is gonna be the greatest one ever.
How do you react to that?
I told him, I was honest, I said, I know, James, I get it, man, but I'm promising you, homie, I'm going to splatter your fucking face all over the sidewalk. He's like, oh, I love that shit. Tell me some more.
Really?
Fucking right, man. He killed, at that moment, he killed like 11 people, man.
Right.
6 in jail.
Jesus. Well.
That's what he was so consumed with anger. Mm-hmm. His idea was he was going to keep killing until they put him down.
Right.
Nothing personal.
Yes.
Me and him got along. This is crazy. I could get along with him.
Yeah.
But if he got his hands on me, I was dead.
Yeah.
Or he was.
So you kind of had to play the game, and there's no other choice.
You know what I love about prison, Bob? It's the complete opposite out here. In there, you keep your mouth shut about people, their family, or why they're there. Out here, on the internet, all they talk about is you, your family, and why you're there.
Right.
And those are the 3 things get you killed in prison.
Right. So if you kind of go in there and you want to keep to your own, is it hard to do, or do people
No.
fuck with you always?
No, it depends on your personality. Look, if you have that open appeal,
I'd be goner. I'd be a goner.
yeah, I could see
I
you
would
washing
tighten up,
socks and shit.
but
You
I
would be
tighten-
low level.
I'd be
though.
washed all the time. Like, here you
Be
go,
a
sir.
steamer.
But
Here
then
you go.
again, but then again, where are you talking about, Bob? You wouldn't probably land in something hard. You'd be in a federal prison or in a minimum security. I was in level 5, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's different. No, I love it that the perception people have about prison is that it's so brutal. No, in some prisons it's really cool. Like it's not all bad.
Right.
Right. And I always make this point. I have a beautiful education because of prison guards.
That's an amazing positive outlook.
Fuck, man, they saved my ass, and they gave me something to do. Bob, when I first went in there, I was so angry that I couldn't get to anybody. I beat my head on the wall. Mm-hmm. And then this one dude came, he's like old school. So they took me to the triage unit to patch my head up, and on the way back, there was a cell empty because a dude committed suicide. He said, boy, go in that fucking cell and get them books. You get whatever books you can get out of that cell, and you bring them to your cell, and you start reading them, because that's the only shit going to stop you from being angry. Yep. One dude took pity on me, man.
When you were angry, who were you angry at? Were you angry at yourself?
Yeah, because I put myself on death row by being the stupidest motherfucker ever to make up a story. Playing games with the cops
Thought you
is
were
dumb.
thought you were hot shit, and it backfired. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
How often on death row did you find people saying they were innocent?
I gotta charge this phone. Keep going, guys.
Only a few.
Only a few?
Yeah, because it's a detriment to you. All right, so first and foremost, you crying out with that shit. Nobody wants to hear it.
Right.
Or if you do come across someone saying it, sometimes it was bullshit.
Yeah.
And that was infuriating. Like I had to deal with people who were milking the system and getting all this attention when they had obviously killed that person.
Uh-huh.
And yet, because I was accused of a sexual-based crime, I couldn't get the help.
Right.
And skin color plays a role a lot of times. Sadly, so many black people were being brutalized by the system that it was harder for me to get the same attention. Mm-hmm. And it's weird, but, it just is what it is.
Right.
But my boy Murphy had a saying. He said, you can't always lose, Nick, and you can't always win. You're going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very glad we did this.
Oh, hell yeah, man. This was something definitely I needed to do, Bob. I'm glad that as I finish this new documentary series and driving across America, we finally got to meet, man.
Yeah, man. We've been talking for a while. So
I know.
It's good to actually finally fucking. It was funny, too. You're just here. You're here in L.A. I'm like, I'm here. Let's fucking go. You're like, let's go.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, so finally this is how it plays out. I thought I was going to catch you in Boston and tell you my Boston story about me being friends with a billionaire who I was going to punch in the face and all that shit.
A lot of punching in the face. It's like an ongoing theme here.
No, it's fucking funny. He's the one that loves to fucking punch. Hey, look, you have the idea of a billionaire, right? Like Robert Kraft or, the owner of the Redskins. Like, they ain't shit, right? Arthur Estamoulis will punch you in your fucking face because he's Greek. And he knows how to wrestle, and he was a fucking champion crew guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's fucking Boston, Southie. You understand? He'll fucking do you.
Boston and Philly don't really have much beef. We don't have much beef.
Fuck you. You robbed us of the Super Bowl, you bastards.
You robbed us the Super Bowl. You beat us with Nick
you guys got one,
Foles.
too.
Yeah, but you stole one in 2004 during the height of 330 games being secretly taped and knowing our defense in that game. And fuck, okay.
You guys got a good team.
McNabb did
McNabb
fucking
did.
puke.
You guys
No,
are good,
no.
though. Jalen Hurts is going to be a stud, man. He's a fucking
Hey,
stud.
I really did. This is a great story. I have a good friend of mine with cancer. I've kept him alive because of the Eagles, man. Me and him met last year, the year before when I was cooking at a restaurant. I used to feed him every night. Me and him were camping together. And he was a kid, grew up in Washington, but an Eagles fan. And the Eagles broke his heart when they lost 4 Super Bowl attempts in a row to championships. And he went out to Seattle and he became a Seahawks fan. And then they won it, and then they blew the game apart and everything. And me and him just became great friends.
How the fuck do you become a Seattle
He
fan?
came all the way to, I know, because he was living out there.
Yeah, that's a fair weather fucking
He's living with fucking bone cancer that has killed
Oh,
everybody.
All right, Jesus.
Dude,
I know. I didn't.
that's all right,
I'm
Bob.
saying that's separate things.
That's all right. We know you got fucking brain
all right,
damage.
that's
listen.
separate things. That's true.
Look.
I'm not like knocking cancer. I'm just
I
saying that's
know.
separate. I didn't know how he went from being a Seattle fucking fan.
He goes out there. He's got fucking cancer that's killed everybody within
awful.
6 months, and he's had it for 9 years. My boy's so hard.
He's a warrior.
He goes and he sees his doctor, and he goes, Doc, I'm going to be back in 6 months. Do me a favor. Don't do nothing stupid like fucking skydiving and shit. I want you to be around when I get back. The last time he was telling me they go in there, and they're doing his head, and they're like, Alex, can you do like the allergies? He goes, fuck this. I got one allergy. I want you to go in there and you fucking tell the doctor I got one allergy. I can't fucking die. You understand? Cancer can't kill me. Nothing will kill me. I got an allergy called I can't fucking die.
Yeah,
That's my boy.
I love
it.
that. That's
Yeah.
good shit. Well,
I made him a video when I went to the game in Philly. Like, this kid is really gravitating towards believing in what he's doing. He wants to write like an owner's manual of the human body. He doesn't want to kill his cancer, Bob. He wants to live. And he doesn't want to kill to live. So he's trying to encourage his fucking cancer to live with him. And he's doing it for 10 years, man. This is fucking awesome. That's my boy.
Now I feel like an asshole. I really was just bringing
No,
up how
it's
Philadelphia and Seattle. I don't know how one can go from.
That's how
Philadelphia.
and now he's back to being an Eagles fan because I brought him on board. He came down and watched.
He's back again on the other side now.
Yeah, because he
Jeez.
came back to fucking Oregon with me, and we watched the draft together in the Siskiyou National Forest. And I told him when they got Davis and all these players, and they got all these great players, I said, Super Bowl. I told him then.
Cancer or not, interesting timing. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, because cancer can't beat love.
Of course.
That's fucking great. And he's a great friend. And I've just been, that's why I've been so, I don't know. I'm just so grateful I got a chance to talk to you, Bob. This is the
Me
first
as
time,
well.
because this is the first time I ever sat down, and this is me. This is the dude you would be sitting and talking with. I'm not doing a fucking performance, or I'm not working on mentally staying on cue through a fucking long story.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful.
We are grateful too. We try and provide a pretty relaxed environment in here. You know, I think it's pretty chill, and we're honored to have you. I mean,
No, it's meant so much to me. I've been through so much, and I go back to this feeling, man. I think you needed this as much as anybody, and I hope you know I meant what I said from going now forward. I'm going to be your brother, and I'm going to make sure you're okay.
all right. Well, I appreciate that. That's
Yeah, man.
that's very kind of you.
I think we all need that in life. We need to know that there's someone who ain't going to bullshit us, and it'll fucking crack our knuckles if we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let's not do this all like prison style or anything. We'll just kind of.
I ain't going to make you pick up the soap.
I don't want to fucking be picking up your soap and shit.
Washing my
fucking
socks.
Washing your fucking socks and passing out your envelopes and shit. Anyways, Nick, this has been a pleasure. I think that at the end of the day, we had a great talk. Scott, Action Park Media, thanks for letting us come in again.
Powerful episode.
This was a
Thanks
very,
for coming
very
in,
good
Nick.
episode.
That
I
was
think it's
great.
going to do well. I do
great.
look forward to one thing. If we can do anything out of this, obviously I'll do a little something for coming in here, helping me out.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate
And,
it, man.
hopefully, some people can. You do have a GoFundMe in there, so if you want to toss some cash to, homeboy,
I appreciate it.
doesn't
all.
hurt.
No, like I said,
Finally get that hooker after all,
No, you know the crazy thing is, I'm so in love with being in love. I've been alone for the last 3 years. I'm going back to be with my wife, man.
Oh, no way.
I told you, this is going to be the fucking comeback story of all time, man.
Very good. That's amazing. That's good shit. Well, that's being in a relationship is important. So it's
Being alive is important, man. Being in love is
Gotcha.
a luxury.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, listen. I like I said, I can't.
Man,
This
you
is
got a lovely lady in your life, man. I hope you really, really appreciate all the good around you.
yeah. She's pretty fucking. She puts up with me, which is fucking insanity.
Well,
I
guess
got in a lot of trouble last night. I came in at 6 a.m.
here's one that you should think about, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
You could possibly be the best version of you because of this girl, man.
I think I have. Yeah, I think I have the potential to be the best. I think the
Right.
stars have aligned. I think there's some fatal errors I'm making
Yeah.
that could just be shifted a little bit to get that best version
Right.
out.
But
So
that's
we're
what
working
I'm
on
talking
that.
about. So you got that chance. Please don't fuck up like me. Take it from someone who's fucked up beyond more than you can ever imagine. Please pay attention.
Yeah,
baby.
I'm taking in everything you're saying. I think that
Thank you, man.
I think that you're very kind and blessing us with your wise words. And
Nah, I came here because I was hopeful, man, and I get it. And we take so many times to just be frivolous. It feels good when we do something meaningful and it's real.
Mhm.
Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being patient, for setting this up. And as you saw, man, I did what you needed. I just let this be us.
that's all we try and strive for in here. And,
Fucking right.
Sometimes you gotta wiggle out the little shit in the beginning, but
Yeah, but-
it's all good. Now you're sitting back, Diet Coke. I got a little cocktail. 42 years ago, but it's pretty impressive stuff.
Amazing.
Scooty, me and you are gonna work on editing this episode up, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Try and get this up ASAP. Nick, as much as it is, I could sit here and talk to you for 3 hours. I do have a girl at home, and I will get in trouble. 'Cause
Yeah, I got a long ride too, so.
Yeah. Well,
man.
this has been a hell of a time. We really appreciate it, Nick. Nick, anything you want to plug besides just the beauty of life?
Look, I can be found on Instagram if you're hurting, if you're fucking going through shit. Just don't be don't fuck with me and reach out to me. And I'm as open to being your friend as I am to Bob and Scott.
Well, I'm going to give you a quick thing here. Is all my audience, for the most part, are assholes, so just get ready. There will be some people that fuck with you, but there are
I love it. Bring it on.
There are some
you
good people
can't
as well.
outdo Gallows humor.
I love it. This has been an honor and a pleasure. You're the best.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
I think that was great.
That's fucking
amazing.
good.
That was really good, huh?
Yeah.
Does that feel good?
Yeah, that felt great.
Scotty, should we edit that and give it up?
Yeah.
Great to see you, buddy. Absolute pleasure. Yeah. We,